Welcome back to another episode of Lounge 11 with Femi and Samko. My name is Femi. I'm joined by my brother and my co-host, Samko. Samko, how's it going this week?
No, not a bad week, man. Very extremely busy, but we gotta get through. We have to get
Yeah,
through. But it's been a busy week, no lights, man.
I looked up, I think we spoke yesterday. I looked up, I was like,
hmm
wait, it's Thursday
It's
already?
Thursday already.
The week went by very quickly, but I think,
hmm
this one is an episode that your ops, I'm sure, have been waiting to hear, given results from last weekend. So,
Yeah.
maybe we'll start there, give
hmm
them what they want to hear, your reactions, your thoughts
Yeah.
on the last weekend game. And just for context, for those that are listening, Manchester City and Arsenal played in the Carabao Cup final last week Sunday. It was the first meeting in the final for both of these two teams, I think in a while, actually, since the
Okay.
Carabao Cup, but a few years ago. And yeah, they beat us 2-0 and they won. And yeah, we lost the chance at a quadruple this season. Samko, do you want to just kind of give your thoughts on on the results and all of that?
Yeah. It was actually a very disappointing performance if we're keeping it a buck and being extremely honest. It was I think the thing that got to me more was the performance more than the result. I went to that game, I was a little bit confident just because, like I said, the reason I even wanted to win the game was just for the fact that the opponent and the manager we're going up against was of big significance to us. Like, we've seen the little bit of rivalry that both teams have had in the last few years. And I think this was the very first time we were meeting in the final within the last 3, 4 years where we've literally been going neck and neck and trying to win the title, right? They've gotten a few of us in terms of winning the title. And this was just one of those games that I just really wanted to see. Like, the performance was very, very important to me, if I'm being honest. And the way we lost that game was the part I just couldn't bring myself around, right? And we spoke right after the game. We had our clubhouse stuff. I had the opportunity to go back and watch the game again. And you just have to hold your hands up and say Pep definitely did outclass Mikel Arteta and the players. That's is one of those games you have to put your hands up and say we were definitely they were the better team, like they did our players. And when you look across the scope in the games we've played this season, I think that was one, if not the only game I can come out and say we had no shot at winning based on how we played. This game was a very tactical game. We've gotten used to seeing when Mikel and Pep Guardiola go head to head, you could definitely see the type of chess match that is happening during the game. I think Slot has been one of those managers when you see we play them or they play Man City sometimes, you can see a lot of tactical adjustments are happening throughout the game. And I think this was a very big example to one of those type of matches. We talked about Kepa and him starting for this game. You were of the opinion that you would start Raya, and I definitely was the opinion of I would still go with Kepa. And that game, when you look back in hindsight, a lot of people will come out and say that was the wrong decision to make. But when I agree with that narrative, it's not going off the error that he made during the game, which was letting the first goal, was more of the tactical part that I would say that was a tactical error that we did realize during that game, because I gave Pep a massive credit that he literally changed the way he played based on one personnel, which I found mind blowing to me, because you could see there were times when Kepa had the ball and he was struggling to find or just push the ball forward just the same way we used to Raya usually doing, right? I think Man City came on, they cut out our passing lanes. They were not really putting the high press that a lot of the times Arsenal will use their ball playing skills from the back to beat that high press and just progress the ball all along. I think they were extremely good. The likes of even their fullbacks in O'Reilly and Nunes, I think they played very well. O'Reilly didn't even play as a left back in this game. He got into the midfield a lot, especially in the second half. I noticed that as well very well. I noticed that very much in the second half, and wasn't surprised that he was the one who came up with those two goals, because they played him in a position where he literally was. always there to crash in the box and stuff like that. In terms of our players, I think the only player that could raise his head and say he had a good game were the likes of Gabriel I'm sorry, Saliba and maybe Gabriel. I think Saliba was extremely good in this game. I think he handled Haaland very well. So you have to put your hands up and give big credit to Man City and Pep Guardiola. They were the way better team. Congratulations to them. So how you bounce back from that is literally what matters now. Yeah, but a disappointing game.
Yeah, it was very tough. It was tough to lose in the manner that we did. I was very pro Raya to start the game. I
Mm-hmm.
think because I just felt like I mean I understand both of the decisions, right? Whether
Yeah.
you start Raya, you start Kepa. I think Mikel. Funny enough, I actually haven't seen anything football related. I think up until maybe yesterday when I was catching up on the highlights of France and Brazil. I haven't really followed the news. Just taking a break myself, but you know, I think one of the things that I did see on Twitter is that Mikel talked about it would have been not human to start Kepa. So I can understand that from that
Mm-hmm.
perspective. And that's why I'm
Yeah.
not as critical. I would not have subbed him. Maybe I
Yeah.
wouldn't have started him, but since he started, I wouldn't have subbed him. I think, you want to kind of give him the chance to write it up. But yeah, I thought Kepa Raya would have given us a better opportunity to play against, what you would expect, you know, them trying to cut out our supply or try to press us and be aggressive. But yeah, it wasn't the game that we wanted, and you have to kind of give Pep credit, like you said. They found a strategy. They attacked the weakness. I think it's not just the personnel in Kepa. I think also they took a chance with you're gonna have to go long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you go long, it means that you're expecting the likes of Gyökeres and Kai Havertz to win most of their duels to get your team more involved, and that also didn't happen. So, yeah, the beat us fair and square. You can't really argue against that. I think I was very concerned when the lineup came out to when Iberi Chieze was not in the squad. Obviously, playing against a team like City without Eze or Odegaard or any really creative players presents a challenge in itself. So but all in all, you have to give credit. Like I said, the better team won on the day. I don't think we would expect to see that again in terms of
No.
that same performance
Mm-hmm.
when we go back to the Etihad. But credit to Pep and the guys.
Yeah. Just to add to what you said, like when a lot of people have spoken about like the whole Kepa starting to, I'm like, a lot of people have kind of made it seem like it's an anomaly of what we saw, right? Let's not forget on the other side of the pitch, Pep started his second goalkeeper. If you go across the competition, a lot of people did start their second goalkeeper. We've seen this happen. So it's like literally a
Time and
normal,
time again, yeah.
yeah, there's a normal thing that literally happens. And like I said in the previous episode, I'm like, people seem to forget that Kepa was one of the people that got us to that final. Literally, when you go watch at the games we played against Chelsea in the semi-finals, especially at Stamford Bridge, Kepa was really crucial in those games. The quarterfinals against Crystal Palace when we went to
Palace, yeah.
penalty, he was the one that got us there. So it wasn't not. I'm not even looking at it that base as a human thing to do. Which definitely, yes, I see that part. Like I said, to me, he had earned the right to play in that final and stuff like that. You
Hmm.
also, I've heard people say, "Oh, so why did you start the likes of Norgard, who played the other competition?" My rebuttal to that is, guess what? The likes of Norgard has got to play in the Champions League or in the Premier League. They've got the opportunity to come off the bench, play 10, 15, 20 minutes here and there. Goalkeepers don't get those opportunities. It's either you're starting the game or you're not playing at all if there is no injury, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, that was just really bad. But like you said, I'm looking forward to the next game at the Etihad because I don't think, not that I don't think, I know Pep will not be playing that same way against Arsenal at the Etihad because Kepa would not be that goalkeeper. And I literally we dare most teams to literally play Arsenal that way and give Raya the opportunity to play that ball long. Because even in this place when Kepa was trying to play the ball long for the likes of Havertz and Gyökeres, because of how much we couldn't get out of our box, a lot of the times Havertz and Gyökeres found themselves in the middle of a box. And when I mean the middle of a box, it's like he had not David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, and both centre backs. So Havertz and Gyökeres were literally in the middle of those balls. So even when you play the long ball and they try to bring that ball down, the second
You're
ball,
losing
you
the
were
second
always
ball.
going to lose that second ball. Yeah. And like I said, it was a master class from Pep, and is one of the reasons why some of us still give him the credit that he gets and he deserves. A lot of people will come out and say he's washed and stuff, but these are the little margins and little tweaks that people are able to do during the games, and you see how much difference it could literally get you. Yeah.
I didn't see the rest of the game after full time, or just as obviously as full time was about to go. I just kind of closed it and got ready
Oh,
for our banter
was it
call.
scored the second goal? I was done. I literally just shut
No,
it down.
I watched it till like almost the end,
Yeah, I was
because I
so
think
irritated.
I watched the game as a manager at times, right? Like, okay, yeah, you've lost the game, but you want to see if there are things that you could take away from that game and see what the team is trying to do. So I did see it to pretty much the end, but
Mm,
obviously just before full time whistle, I wasn't trying to see those guys,
yeah,
happy and celebrating. So I
yeah,
closed it. But what I did hear was Mikel made the guys wait and clap the Man City players towards their
yes.
medals and
Yeah, I
stuff,
heard about
which
that too. Yeah.
I thought was, classy in its own
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
That's my take. I banter with the best of them, but I think one thing
Mhm.
people know about me is once you win, you shake the person's hands, you say
Yeah.
congratulations, and you live to fight another day. That's kind of
Yeah.
been my own approach, right? You always
Yeah.
congratulate the winner, you move on to fighting another day. So
You got to know
I
how to lose
respected that.
gracefully.
You win like you're used to it, enjoy
Yeah.
it, and lose like you enjoyed it for a change.
Hmm.
That's kind of the approach.
Yeah.
But I think there's also an element of feel the pain to that, an
Hmm.
element of I want you guys to really see what you could become and see, feel the full weight of the disappointment so that spurs you on to the final stretch in the league. So I don't know. I think I'm more excited actually about the rest of the league, the rest of the season,
Yeah.
and the things that this team can still accomplish. So I wish them all the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
On that note, actually, let's move away and end on some positive note. We have to shout out the manager, Mikel Arteta, who celebrated his birthday this week. I seen on Twitter, somebody said, I'll give you birthday and then you take the happy when you win the league. but
Yeah.
I'll definitely
Shout out
give
to
him,
Mikel for sure. Big happy birthday to him,
yeah.
man. Yeah.
I saw somewhere I didn't actually fact check because these days the lies we're seeing on the internet,
Oh yeah.
man. Sky
Yeah. It's
Sports,
getting ridiculous
ESPN,
now.
it's
Yeah.
getting crazy. Sky Sports, you be lying.
Oh my God.
ESPN, you'll be
You
lying,
be
but
lying.
you be lying. But I
Yeah.
did see somewhere that I think he has the highest win rate for any manager in Arsenal's history, which is
Yeah, in a season.
incredible.
Yeah, in a season. Yeah.
Incredible if it is, No, I
Hmm.
don't think it's this season. I think it's like
Oh, ever?
yeah, ever.
Oh, actually, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, definitely will, because I think it's somewhere around the mid 70s or what, high
Yeah.
60s or something. Yeah,
I'm Googling it right now
yeah.
actually. That is crazy if it is.
Mm. It's funny
Um
because I remember I was going through the Arsenal website today for something, and there was this article they posted on the Arsenal website where he was literally 3 games away from tying the most wins we've ever had in any season, literally. And 4 wins, he's literally going to have the record of the most wins in a season. And he's literally played less games than most of the other seasons where we had, like, yeah, literally I saw that this morning. But
yeah, it does
it's a
have the
testament to what he has
highest
done, right? It's a
he has the
testament to what
highest win
he's done.
rate
He just needs the trophies now to seal it up with it.
to back it up.
Because, yeah, like I've always said, I always want people who've put in the work to get their rewards, right? There's nothing much better than hard work, and you're seeing the fruit of your labor. So hopefully
He will.
I know he's
He
definitely
will.
going to get it. That one he's definitely going to get it. I don't have those doubts, especially this season. So yeah.
Right. Um Elsewhere in the league last week there were lots of games
Mhm.
that happened as well. I think it's interesting. Nobody really wants this top four, top five position because one week this team looks like they're about to pull away, then the next the other team looks like they're about to get cut up. The one team that looks like they're letting it that they're slipping away is
Mm,
Chelsea.
mm.
Chelsea lost again, three
Again.
zero again to
Hell.
Everton. I mean, that's got to be a new low for them, right?
Hmm. Well, again, I'm sure this would be like the third or fourth episode I will say this. When it comes to the top four is inconsistencies. It's literally what happens. All the teams in the top four is, and I'm pretty sure once we get back from the international break, you're going to keep saying that. Any team that thinks they are going to be comfortable. I mean, one thing that works for all of them is they're fighting for literally three positions, which is third, fourth, and fifth. And
Oh, you think so? You think second is far out of reach, according to some of
I think so.
maestros?
And yeah, I think second might be out of reach. But the reason I say I think second is out of reach as well is because Man City are out of the Champions League. So now they have that midweek games taken out of their calendar, except they're trying to reschedule a game, right? So I think
Mm-hmm.
with that they'll be able to. Yeah, I think second is pretty much done. But third, fourth, and fifth, yeah. There's even Manchester United. I feel they're going to make it to Europe, but I don't think they should be comfortable. Like I said, inconsistency. You don't know. I mean, they went to go play Bournemouth. I'm sure a lot of them were pretty confident. And I remember I told one of our boys, I said that game has a draw written over it, right? It's the Premier League towards the end of the season. It's quickie bomb time for a reason. So we'll see. But in terms of Chelsea, they're in definitely big troubles, man.
Got a
Big, big
question for you.
troubles.
Got a question for you on. I'll come back to Chelsea, but just on the United, because you said second is out of reach. And
Mm,
one of the things that I saw or
mm,
heard, I think he was on our banter call, one of our good friends who's a United fan.
mm.
He made a comment, and I just noted it because it's factually accurate.
Yeah,
He said, look, the gap between City and Arsenal is actually bigger than the gap between
United
City
and
and United. And
yes.
United have been one of the more informed teams
Hmm.
in the. So why do we actually accept that it is out of reach for United to catch second?
Like I said, for me, I'm just looking at it based on what I know the top four race to be, right? And Manchester United, they've they've gotten some few good results, but I'm beginning to not get very convinced about a lot of their performances. But performances don't really matter at this point of the season, right? It's
Mm,
more about those results. And I think they're in a good position where they would get Champions League, right? Because if you're asking yourself, is the target really to become second or is the target to qualify for Champions League? That's how I see it, right? Because I don't think there's any difference in terms of incentives. Second, third, fourth, fifth, they're all getting the same thing. So I don't know if in the mindset of Manchester United, they're looking at it and say, oh, we're going for the second spot. It's not like
mm.
Man City who are looking at it and say, we still have the possibility of catching Arsenal. We still have the possibility of being champions. So I think that is also going to give Manchester City a little bit of that
To push.
boost to push forward. But in terms of Manchester United, it's a little bit different because for them, it's about making sure they don't fall out of the top five and just remain in the top four. So that's why I feel that is out of reach for them. Yeah.
Okay. Coming back to Chelsea, they are sixth right now. They're the ones looking on the outside.
Hmm.
They're going to need a lot of things to bounce in their favor, right, at the moment to make it back into contention. What's going on there? Like I didn't I expected Everton to get a result, maybe a
Hmm.
draw or some
Yeah.
if they
A
were gonna
draw.
sneak something.
Yeah.
3-0 was not on my bingo cards, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, inconsistency from Chelsea, but I believe in the running they'll pick up some weird results. I really do think Chelsea will pick up some weird results.
Mm,
In the middle in sorry during this running. I think now Liam has to like knuckle down and figure out what exactly is my best team. Again, there's another team that have been knocked out of the Champions League, right? So now he needs to just knuckle down and ask himself, what is going to be my best team? Who are the players I know that I can trust? Because they're not far away from a Champions League position. Let's not forget, a lot of us don't trust, me for one, don't trust the likes of Aston Villa, right? They can, and they're staying involved in Euro. So things can definitely go against them. We've seen Liverpool. We don't know what kind of Liverpool is going to come out, especially for the fact we've seen Salah has come out and said, this is goodbye. We don't know what kind of energy that brings to the squad. Again, inconsistency when it comes to top four. So he needs to figure out the people he can rely on, the people he can trust, the people he knows are going to be able to get him a result and stick with that. And we'll see how that goes. But man, just for the fact that it's Liam that is the manager of that team right now, and I don't think he has shown based on the teams and the results he's collected lately, there's nothing I have to say, I can back him doing it. I just feel they will get some results, but will those results be enough for top five? I really don't know.
Yeah, it also seems like the fans are starting to lose, buying. Like they're starting to lose the support, or
Okay.
he's starting to lose the support of the fans. I'm not hearing that people are inspired by
But
what
yeah,
he's selling or what he's doing, right? So
mm,
that can't be a good thing. You saw
no,
Chelsea fans leaving, what is it, before the end of the game against
mm,
Everton,
yeah,
right? And Everton are sneaking up on them right now. We're talking about what's happening in front, but you can also see that what's happening behind them. Brentford is only two
especially for the
points.
away fans.
Yeah, Brentford is
Yeah.
only 2 points behind Chelsea at the moment. Everton is only three
Mo-
points behind Everton. So they're
Oh,
going
I
to be
even
looking
thought they were like
around.
one. Oh, Brentford drew their game, right?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they
So
drew. That's
a
true.
lot can still change, right? Because we're
Yeah,
looking ahead, but then if you look behind them, you have people that are hungry and, starting to, they might want to take those positions up. So
yeah.
I don't think it's safe for them either. But we'll turn our attentions to Liverpool. Liverpool, they also lost to Brighton, which is the story of their season so far. What is it, 10 losses now?
10.
What
But that
is
10
it, 10?
losses, that's in the league, I think.
Yeah,
It should be in the
yeah,
league.
10
Yeah.
losses in the league.
But were you shocked by that result?
No, I wasn't.
I
But the thing
wasn't.
is, with Liverpool, I actually thought maybe they could get at least a draw, because I don't know,
It's
Liverpool. They're
Brighton.
very interesting.
If you look at a
Here's the
lot of
thing:
the Liverpool Brighton games, this is
I
what
know,
happens.
I
There's always
I
a
know
lot
about
of yeah,
Brighton. That is why I said a draw, right? Because Brighton was a better team. I think that
yes,
part is pretty
yeah,
clear,
for sure.
and that is the part that is surprising. Liverpool are a very interesting case this season. I think they'll finish in the top five or whatever,
Yes,
because
yes.
I play the data game too much, right? I think when you look at the reason I said Aston Villa a few episodes ago, I said they were going to drop out of top three. Because your XG numbers, your whatever, it just looks bad. It
Okay.
looks like you have been over outperforming. The opposite is actually quite the case with Liverpool on pretty much all offensive metrics, right? They lead the league in possession, they lead the league in chance created, and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
It suggests that they should be much better.
they should be much
But
better. Yeah.
somehow they keep giving away silly goals closer to the end of the game. They go through stretches in the game where they just can't control the game. And obviously, we've seen the stories that Slot has told about set pieces and long balls and all of that stuff. So they just seem like they are struggling to deal with the variance in what modern day football looks like, but they're actually a good team offensively.
hmm
Like they
Yeah,
a lot
they have good
goals,
quality players.
good
Offensively.
quality players. So I think they make the top five, but I also expected them to get a result against Brighton. So that the loss was a shock to me. I thought they would probably draw, but 10 losses in the league for a defending champion that spent almost $500 million. That is crazy work.
What
That is
what
crazy.
what do you think of? Because I think with Liverpool, the temperature is always hot and cold in regards to the manager when you look at slots, right? Because after the game at Brighton, I'm just asking myself, there are times I've said, yeah, this man is done. He's not going to be the manager next season. And there are times I've been like, I can see them holding this guy back for just one more year and see what happens. Sometimes, or some way within that year, if things are not going, they'll let him go. Where do you still stand in regards to that of Slot?
I haven't changed my stance actually. I think what they're probably waiting for is to see where things land
They
with
land.
the
Yeah.
Champions League and the FA Cup, because they're still in two competitions. Last week we
Yes.
talked about English teams failing in Europe or not getting knocked out in Europe. Well, they're one of two that made it through to the
Was
quarterfinals
Liverpool.
in the Champions League. So you have to give them
Yeah.
credit for that. They're still in the quarterfinals, I believe, of the FA Cup,
Yes.
right? Where they get to play Man City. So they're still in it to win. The story of Liverpool could still look like this
Yeah.
theoretically. They could win Champions League, they could win the FA Cup, they could finish fourth, fifth, third, whatever the case might be,
And that would be a
and you
good
will call
season.
that a fairly decent season. Yeah, a very,
Decent Champions League. That's a
you
good
know what I'm
season,
saying?
man.
Exactly, it could
Yeah.
be a very good season. Actually, you're
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
So I think they definitely want to see how the chips fall there. But I've said so many times before, if you do not get Champions League, and you didn't if these two things don't happen, you don't qualify for Champions League
I think
and
that's
you don't
very
win
important.
anything, that
I think that
Champions League is
Champions
not
League is very,
won.
very important. Yeah.
Extremely important, right?
Yeah.
Because finances are at play. They have the largest wage bill in the history of
Yeah.
football,
Yeah.
in the history of professional football. I don't think you can be managing that kind of wage bill. Obviously, it helps that you're letting
Salah is leaving.
Salah off the books, right? Which
Yeah.
we'll talk about very soon. But I don't think they can stomach that, right? And there's another factor. That's all the on-field performance. Now, the opportunity cost performance of that, opportunity cost effect of that. This season, we expect a lot of manager roulette. This guy
Mhm.
has 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah.
The top teams we know are going to be, or some of the top teams are likely going to be looking for a manager. United, we don't know what they do with Carrick, but if you listen to their fans, it looks like they want a manager there, like a
Mhm.
more brand name,
Established
if you want to
manager.
call
Yeah.
it. Yeah. We don't know what happens with Real Madrid if they decide to extend Abeloa. We don't know what happens with Chelsea if they decide to let Liam go. So there's all of these positions that are likely open with, and also PSG. Nobody knows what's going on with Enrique. So you put all that in the picture, and then you only have very short list of top coaches that are going to be available, with a growing list of teams that need coaches,
Mhm.
right? And so you can't afford to put yourself behind the eight ball if you're at Liverpool. If you know that you're not going to, you're going to have
If
to
you're
do
not
two things.
sure,
You're going to
especially.
extend him. Exactly. You're going to have to extend him and make the statement that you're sure because he's going to the last year of his contract, or you bite the bullets and say this wasn't good enough. Let's get somebody that is more suited for our long term goals and all of that stuff. So I don't think he's safe actually
Yeah, yeah, I
until we
don't
see
think he's
how the
safe.
season
Yeah. I just somehow
pans
still
out.
feel that there's a room where he stays. I don't know why. Just sometimes I just still get that feeling that I
There
can still
is, and I
see.
think we just talked about it.
Yeah, yeah, I can
There
still
is.
see
Like if you
there's
win the
room. Yeah,
Champions League or you win one of those cups, you must qualify for Champions League one way or the
yes.
other.
I think it really the Champions League is what holds a lot. Yeah, because I know the Champions League itself. Sorry, I meant Champions League qualification, but I think the Champions League itself, it's for this Liverpool team, it's going to be tough. Just because when you look at the potential opponents that they will have to
The
go
bracket
through
that they're in.
PSG.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they
But that's why
happen
I'm
to go
saying
through
now, if they
PSG,
do it, you got to give them the
exactly,
credit.
then you can't do anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah, if they do it, you got to give them the credit.
Yeah.
But actually, staying on Liverpool, obviously the big news that came out from that club this week was Salah announcing, what are we going to call it? Is it retirement, or basically
Hmm.
he's leaving Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
That brings to an end a very glamorous career. I think he's done extremely well for himself in that club.
Yeah.
What is it? Two league titles, one Champions League, and all the other cups that he's won along the way.
Yeah.
Record number in what is it, golden boots and stuff like that. That's in
That's
my
true. How
mind
many
a
does he
Premier
have?
League
Oh,
legend.
three or four?
I think it's four.
Four, right?
I think he has the record. Yeah,
Oh, really? He has
I
a
think
record.
he has the record. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's four.
Um, how do you remember Salah's time in the league?
Ben, a few of us have been. It's funny. I was talking about. I can't remember who I was talking to the other day, and I said our generation, we should consider ourselves blessed in terms of the eras of football that we have seen, the quality of players that we have seen, and in terms of the Premier League. In my humble opinion, I think Salah is the greatest right winger we've seen in the Premier League. And yes, I know a lot of people would have other people that they want to put into that conversation. But I think when it comes to the right wing position, I don't think there's anyone I'll put above Salah because I look at his achievements, look at the longevity and everything. This is a guy that came to the league when he was pretty young in Chelsea. Things didn't work out. He left, went to Roma. I came back and just tore the league apart, right? Like, let's not forget, in one of the greatest eras in terms of Premier League history, that of Pep Guardiola, even when Salah didn't win as much Premier League as he would have wanted, go look at his numbers during those eras too. It's just unbelievable. So it's been a pleasure to witness his growth in the Premier League. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of his, and I think it's literally time for him to take a step back and just walk away from Liverpool. I think they've had a very good, long-standing relationship. I think both sides benefited from that relationship. They both got what most people would have dreamt of, right? Let's not forget this is Liverpool, which is one of, if not the biggest club in England. They went through an era where they weren't really winning anything. They've had players like Steven Gerrard that a lot of people talk about, but everything that they've won that brought Liverpool back to that limelight in terms of their fans and everything happened with Mo Salah. So
Yeah.
have to give him have to give him his credit, got to give him his flowers, respect, and I wish him all the best, man. I wish him all the best.
I wish him nothing. I'll talk about this at the
I wish him all
end.
the best, man.
Nah, I'm joking. Salah definitely goes down as a legend for me, but I'll give him his flowers at the end of the season. We might still see them, so I'm not really trying to do all that mushy mushy stuff right now. If I see them as on site, got to get one more L on the way out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But yeah, for all the trouble that it has cost me. So yeah, at the end of the season when we're doing our final episode, I will give Salah his credit that it
yeah.
deserves. Not while we're still in competition. We might see them in the FA Cup. We might see them in the Champions League. Who knows?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll see you when I see you, brother.
See you when I
You know.
see you.
But no, I think in the meantime you have to acknowledge you are right. I think I don't think there's many people you put. I can't think of anybody really
Yeah.
that you put ahead of him. In that position that he played. I don't know. I think if Salah was anybody other than what he represents, we're talking about him with a little bit more definitive stance, right? Like people are
Mm.
still kind of edging it like, oh,
Thinking
greatest
about it.
African player.
Yeah.
What about one of the greatest players to play in the league? Full stop, right?
Full
Why does it
stop.
have to be
Literally. Yeah.
greatest African player and all of that stuff, right? Like, when you put his numbers up there against some of the best players we've seen, stacks up pretty good.
Yeah.
I was just looking at Grok. Apparently, it's actually tied with Henry for most golden boots or something. I
Yeah,
don't
because
know
I know
these
Henry
days.
have
I don't know what to
4.
believe. Four, yes. So Salah
Yeah.
has four
So
as well.
therefore, okay, okay.
And we consider Henry one of the greatest players to ever play in the Premier League, a Hall of Fame
Exactly.
player in the Premier, like literally a Hall of
Mm-hmm.
Fame player in the Premier
Yeah.
League, and Salah is doing that.
He's doing that.
So you know, I think there is something a little bit mischievous about how this whole news has come out, right? So we'll talk about what we think it means for Salah, but
Mm.
before we jump into that, Liverpool, there's something sneaky about the way they're handling the situation. I don't know if you saw the thing they put out a couple of days after with Jamie Carragher.
Oh, the one about the list.
Yeah,
To be honest, when
like
it comes to Jimmy Carragher and Salah, I try not to give him any other attention or
hold
listen
on
to
a
what he
second.
has to say. Yeah.
This is not a Jamie Carragher problem, though. This is a Salah problem because from the indications that I saw just
Mm-hmm.
getting ready for our recording today, they had recorded that before they made the announcement. So
What did they record?
Liverpool
That's him pulling out that list and all
giving
that.
his list.
Okay.
So we
Okay, I
already
get what
know
you
what
mean.
Jamie Carragher's stance is with Salah,
Yeah.
which we could touch on.
Mm.
But Liverpool choosing to put that out on their official channels
Mm.
just a couple days after the departure or announcing the departure of somebody who I would think they should consider a club legend, that something feels shady about that.
Of course, something has always felt shady about it because if you think back to the season, actually, I think it was last season. You remember when he came out after one of those games and said,
Right.
I think somebody doesn't want me to be here or something in that light. You remember when he had that
Was it
interview
last
after the
season? That
game?
was this season. Last season, he
Oh,
said
oh, was
nobody
that
has
this
offered
season?
him a contract. Yeah, that was
Oh,
this
sorry.
season.
Yeah, you're right. That was this season. It was the other
Yeah,
season he talked about the contract. And then this season,
right.
yeah, this season because it was before AFCON
Lead.
when he
Yeah.
said, yeah, that it looks like someone doesn't want me to be here. So I think there's definitely something brewing at the back. What exactly, I do not know. But yeah, a lot of the times you see, or we see a lot of these clubs just lose a little bit of touch in respect to some of their legends. You
I
don't
thought that was
understand why.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
definitely crazy because it's almost ringing a bell to me when it has to do with, if you remember Victor Osimhen, when he had his own issues at Napoli, and it's
Napoli,
like,
yeah.
this guy is one of the greatest players that you've ever seen. You guys have not won the league since the time of Maradona and stuff like that. This guy comes in, he does that for you guys, and look at what you still have in your social media put out there, right?
That's
And
crazy.
now we're coming to Mo Salah. A lot of you will come out and say Steven Gerrard is one of your greatest players, if not their greatest player, with the other ones that they have. But look at what Salah has achieved for your club. Like I said, a lot of you have to have been watching football for a while for you to know Liverpool is a big club, right? When we were growing up, Liverpool didn't win a lot. Yes, they won the Champions League and stuff, but everything started again since Mo Salah stepped foot into, and it's not like he stepped foot into the club and he was part of those achievements. To be honest, he led those achievements. Last season, you don't
His
win.
first season was
Yeah,
the goal scoring record. He had
exactly. Even
yeah,
last season,
golden boot. Yeah,
you do not win the Premier League without Salah. That one is factual. He had what, somewhere between 60 to 70% of their goal involvement last season. So take 60 to 70% of Liverpool's goals last season. You do not win the Premier League. So he definitely takes you across that line and stuff like that. So it's unfortunate, but I guess we'll hear more. A lot of these things you always hear more after he leaves and stuff like that. But then, yeah, disappointment on their part.
what do you think happens next? Obviously they're saying the agent has come out to say there is no club lined up. I don't believe that,
No,
but
that's a lie.
you,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a lie. That's a
yeah,
lie. It's just playing the whole agent. Yeah,
maximizing
it's
value.
what agents is
Yeah,
what agent does or what they do. But yeah, he definitely has something lined up. When you it's Mo Salah, before he even signed the contract, the likes of Saudi Arabia wanted him to come in, right? Even if you look at him and say this guy doesn't have the legs again to play in the Premier League, Mo Salah being in any league in the world is a big deal. It's literally a big deal. I see 2, 3, if not 4 teams in Saudi Arabia they would want to definitely have him, right? In that league. I don't know their names at the top of my head. But for example, we saw Benzema left the Saudi Arabia team that he was at and went to another one. That face might be looking and say, we need a face. Well, what bigger face in Saudi Arabian league than Mo Salah
and
right now? Do you
Habibi.
understand? Like, there are options for him. I would not be shocked if somewhere in the US, they also look at him and say, hey, come out. Like, we want to pay you with Inter Miami might come out and say, hey, we want to pay you with Messi or something. So he's definitely going to have options.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how those things pan out.
But
I
I
think
like
we
that everything was announced now though, so that he
yeah,
gets
give
that
him a
send off
chance
with the
to
fans,
yeah,
even
right.
if he might have whatever problems he has with the club, but just to give him that opportunity with the fans, I think that was, and apparently I heard he was the one that kind of pushed for the announcement to be done this international break.
That's good. I
Yeah.
think it takes away the
The
distraction. It's good
distractions and
because
all
there's
that. Yeah.
another week and a half or whatever it is
Yeah.
before football resumes, at least Premier League football resumes again.
Yeah.
So, it gets a chance for everybody to kind of just digest that information and not
Yeah.
cause distraction for what is going to be a very important push for them the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Not sure what else is here to talk about. What have we not talked about? Yeah, so now that we've kind of gone through Liverpool, we've gone through Chelsea. I think by the time the season begins again, that this is the last international break until
Mhm.
the end of the season, and we
Mhm.
kind of have a sense of where things are going. We didn't talk about Spurs. Spurs. They were at home to Forest
Yeah.
in a relegation battle, what I'm calling a six-pointer, because both of
Mhm.
those teams are in direct competition for the relegation or not to avoid relegation. And somehow they consider three at home to Forest. You
Yeah.
have previously said that their fans shouldn't read too much into the results against Atletico at home.
Mhm.
And then they turn around the next game and they were blown away. They were
Yeah.
blown apart by Forest at home.
Yeah.
Uh, Do you want to talk about that game from what you saw?
To be honest, I wasn't surprised. I think the first half they played a little bit well. I could tell they were trying to do whatever it is they had to do to try and get a
Right.
result. But in the second half, the Spurs that we've come to know and
It came
understand
back.
this season, they came back.
It
There are
came
three.
back.
When I looked at their run-ins before, I'm trying to remember the game they played before Crystal Palace. I think it was Newcastle. I remember saying there are three games they cannot afford to lose. Crystal Palace was one of them because Crystal Palace were not in the best form at that point. The other two games were Forest and Wolves. Forest and Wolves, just for the fact those were the guys that were fighting relegation with them. And I said to her, like, these three games, you cannot afford to lose those games.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? They've lost two of those games. Coming back from the international break, West Ham play Wolves first. So if West Ham should happen to win that game at home,
They open up a lead.
they open up a lead.
All right.
Spurs play. Who do they even play?
Let me pull it up.
Who do they play
Let me
after the
pull it up.
international break? I know. Is it Sunderland?
Spurs, they play Sunderland. They're going away to
Sunderland.
Sunderland.
They go
That's
away to
gonna be a tough,
Sunderland.
tough game, bro.
Exactly. They go
That's
away to
gonna
Sunderland. So
that's
now the
gonna be a
possibility of
tough
you winning
game.
that game is low. And I think right after Sunderland, they might play Villa.
Well, Villa is playing Forest, so
Yeah,
that's
Villa
another
is
one.
playing Forest. At least two of them are still in Europe. But now Forest already has a good win, which they got from you at your own house. And I can bet any morning Forest will still sneak another win somewhere between now and the end of the season. West Ham have Crystal Palace and Wolves next. When West Ham plays Crystal Palace will just be coming off one of their European games, I believe, which will be played on a Thursday. And they're playing against West Ham. Crystal Palace haven't really been the best after their European games. So now let's just look at it and say at worst, West Ham comes out with 4 points. Can we come out and say Spurs? I think the best Spurs can do might be 2, maybe 3 points if they win a game. But we can't even call 3 points because you've not won a game in 2026. So why should I give you a win now? Until you show me that win, I can't definitely give it to you. So let me just give you 2 points in terms of 2 draws.
Two draws, yeah.
West Ham, they've got a lead on you. So now you're in the relegation. So there's big trouble for Spurs, man. There's big trouble for
I
Spurs.
think they're in big, big trouble. I think they're in big trouble. I think it was you that was telling me that their manager lost his dad during the last game. They
Yes,
got
yes.
judo.
During the game,
I
right
didn't
after the
realize that
game.
actually.
Yeah, right after
Yeah,
the
I didn't
game
realize that.
because I noticed because I was literally when I switched off the Arsenal game, I went back to that game because they were doing the post match, and I noticed it was his assistant that came on to do the presser,
I
and
see.
they were like, "Yeah, he's just been away for some reason." But I think much later, the news started popping out that he was notified right after the game that his dad had just passed away. So
I see. Well,
condolences to him and the fam.
definitely condolences to him and his family. Yeah, that could add some complications as well to what they decide to do because obviously you can't let him go
Yeah, you can't
right
do that.
after such a
Just give him
difficult
one more game.
difficult time,
Just give
right?
him
So
one more game.
yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good point in the season to kind of look ahead and see where we think things will fall, right? So I wanted us to do something here, give
Okay.
your predictions on. I think I'm pretty clear on who you think is winning the league,
Yeah.
but like league winners,
Yeah.
top four. Actually, at this point, we should really change it to top five because we already know that it's top five that likely makes Europe from England.
Yeah.
So your title predictions from this moment on, your top five, how they look in order, and
In order.
your yeah,
Ah.
and then your relegation teams.
Okay. Yeah, champion definitely I'll go with Arsenal. I think we've the buffer we have and the games. I think our next 4 games, we have 3 of them at home. So I think we're going to be able to get some really nice points and the ability. And for the fact Man City are yet to schedule their Crystal Palace, I think that buffer that we have is just going to keep pushing us over the line. So I'll definitely go with Arsenal winning the league. Man City second. Whew, man, that top 3, 4, I don't know, but I would go. I don't know. I just have this feeling that Liverpool might do something. I don't know. So I think I'll go Liverpool, United, Villa as top 5. Relegation, definitely Wolves, Burnley, and Spurs.
I agree with you on the relegation. That's what I have as well. It's 3, right? So Wolves,
3.
Burnley, and Spurs. Yes, I
Yeah.
definitely. We're changing our quadruple to a different one. That
Ah,
so that's one.
oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, Nene, I'm definitely taking that to the cabinet, just so you know.
But in terms of the top 5, I also have Arsenal finishing first, obviously.
Yeah.
I think City finished second.
Yeah.
I have said previously that United finished third. I'm not changing my mind on that,
Yeah.
even though it's looking kind of
Yeah.
shaky right now, but I'm sticking with that prediction. I actually think Liverpool are going to put a strong
A
run
strong run.
very
Yeah.
soon between now and the end of the season. And
Yeah.
so I have them finishing fourth. And I have Villa finishing fifth. I think they would just barely
Yes.
survive.
Yeah.
And not because they're actually that good, but because Chelsea are not looking consistent as well, right? So I think.
Yeah, that, and I think, I don't know, there was something the West Ham results did for Villa that I was like, I can see them stealing this type of 3 points here and there between now and the end of the season, right? Because they
Yes.
played West Ham right after playing the Europa League. They were at home and everything. And I literally thought West Ham were going to get something out of that game, like a draw or something. But the way they just disposed of West Ham in that game, I was like, you know what? 1 or 2 more games like that anywhere somewhere this season, I think that would be enough for them in the top 5 race. So yeah.
Yeah, I think they survive as well. Let's see, what else do we have? I wanted to touch on the national team selections. Before we even get into some of these teams, you can see some of the accusations that have come out after the Carabao Cup final. Arsenal have pulled a lot of their players. I think we have 6 players that pulled out or something like
Yeah.
that. Eze obviously was injured, so we can't really call that. But we saw Saliba play. We saw Gabriel play. I think Trossard had a bit to play in that final. All 3 of those players have pulled out.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think there's anything interesting going on there from
Oh yeah,
Arsenal and Arteta
guilty.
standpoint?
Guilty.
Guilty, guilty,
Guilty as
guilty,
charged.
guilty,
And I don't feel
guilty.
any way about it because I've always been of the opinion that Arsenal and Mikel should do that, right? Especially for this very particular international window is very, very pointless because there's a lot of international friendlies, right? Especially for the teams that have qualified for the World Cup. I think in my humble opinion, I will look at those managers and say, okay, the players are on the brisk of making that squad. I think this is what you use to make that decision of I'll pick my final people, right? But then again, I have to give good credit and shout out to the likes of Tuchel because yes, he did call the likes of Saka and Declan
Saka,
Rice, but because of the amount of
Rice,
games, I know they even play a game today. He literally said the first week of the international break that they shouldn't even come to the camp. They should take that to just rest off and
rest.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. But the likes of Gabriel, Saliba, please, these guys need to rest. We lost Gabriel for almost 3 months. Or was it 2 months
On the
in
last
the last
international
international
break.
break? And if you
Correct.
remember, it was a useless friendly as well, right? We saw what happened at the Brazil game with what's his name, Rafinha
France.
yesterday.
Oh, Rafinha, yeah.
Yeah, he got some injuries. Nobody know how long that is going to be. I think it's the Strasbourg striker as well that I think that guy is not even going to make the World Cup at this point. I think he got some crazy injuries yesterday. Again, yeah. So it's like this particular international break is one I'm not really a fan of, but I wish more of our players did call out, to be honest. The likes of Timber has played way too many games. I'm not even going to lie. That's one of the things I'll hold against Mikel this season. I think he has used Timber a lot. But then again, you have the likes of Ben White that have really not been available. So his hands have been forced a little bit. So Timber getting a 2 weeks break, I applaud it. That of Trossard, if you look at it, our last few games, he's picked up knocks literally every game. I think our last 3 or 4 games, he's picked up knocks literally every game, and he hasn't finished those games. So if he's going to get 2 weeks off, please go take those 2 weeks off. Izzy is definitely injured. The likes of Nogard, apparently he's going to be back. The manager has said he's close to being back, but they
No,
didn't
well,
want to rush
Nogard,
him. Sorry, not Nogard,
Odegaard, you mean?
Odegaard.
Okay, okay,
They
okay.
just didn't want to rush him through this process. So they were like, they think it's best for him to. And again, when you see where we find ourselves, man, whatever it takes right now, like you have to protect these players. This is a running for a reason. We don't have Merino. We've lost Izzy. We don't have Waneri. That's 3 midfielders are already gone. We don't know what's going to happen between now and the season. So I'm okay with it. I don't mind. I wish more of them would be. Even Calafiori, I don't know why that one went to Italy. He played yesterday. I wish they just tell him, okay, you know what, with the injuries that you have, you've given us one game, you go home. But there's, I understand it because they're still fighting for
For
qualifiers.
something, right?
So I can understand, yeah, you want your best players there. But for the ones that is all about like friendlies and all that stuff, man, you guys sit at home. Sit at home.
Listen, I've always, maybe because I'm not I think you know, and maybe some of the listeners know, I'm not a big internationals. I don't watch a lot of internationals. Maybe
Yeah.
during the World Cup, I might get involved towards the later stages. Nations Cup, I think same thing. I watched a lot of the later stages. There's so much football these days that when you get a
Mm-hmm.
break, I
You
just
want
want
to
to take
take
that
it.
break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's even as a fan, it's emotionally draining. Like you're waking up at odd hours, right? Like
Yeah.
we wake up 4:30, whatever. So I'm fine with that. So I'm also
Very
fine with my
fun.
players not getting. I'm actually honestly fine with our players not getting called up.
So
I'm
much.
fine with my players not playing. I know
Yeah.
that is selfish. They want to represent their countries and all that.
It's
Credit
not
to
for me.
them.
It's not for me. It's not selfish. Like if it was like you said, represent their country in a real tournament, I understand. But for these friendlies, man, I'm paying your
You're not
checks.
hearing
Go
me.
sit
I'm
at
saying I
home.
don't want them to represent. Like
You
if
don't want them
Saka
to
goes to the
represent the
World Cup and
countries.
doesn't play, I'm fine.
Oh,
But the problem is
yeah.
Saka's position is Noni that's also going to
It's
play.
yeah.
If you think Declan Rice is not that good and Bellingham should be the starting
That's fine
whatever,
for
play
you.
Bellingham. I'm totally fine with
Really?
that. Oh
Ah,
yeah.
man. Yeah. In those, I
But
won't
I
lie.
think the only reason I give it any consideration is what it means for the players, right? Because you
Exactly.
don't want players
Exactly.
believing that they cannot achieve their full
Their full
potential playing for your
potential. Yeah.
club. So
Yeah.
that's the
I
only reason I
really,
would even
in
feel a type of way about it.
yeah, in major tournaments, I always like follow whichever country that our players are in, and I actually want them to do well. If I'm being honest, usually, except with the exception for England, I've just never believed in England because they've always had like crazy managers. But it's funny, like this World Cup, I'm actually rooting for England a lot just because of the manager that they have. Because I believe he can literally do something for them. So when the World Cup comes, for sure, I'm going to be rooting for them. But right now, nah. It's like yesterday. I had the ability to see the highlights of Sweden and Ukraine and all
Right.
that. Like I watched it. I saw Eucharist had a hat trick, and I was happy for him because I'm like, that's another boost for you, whether be it your ego, your confidence, whatever it is. But then again, that was another big game for them because that was a qualifying match for them to make it to the World Cup. So sometimes some players I can see why they need it, but a lot of the times I
Yeah.
really don't care, man. I want my boys at home sitting.
Look, if Isak is fit, let Isak play for Sweden. You
I
know,
don't even
that's
think they called himself, and I
I'm
think
sure they
he's
will have.
physically
Yeah.
fit. Yeah,
It's getting back. It's getting
he's
back.
getting back.
But
Yeah,
that's why I want them to do well. Don't get me wrong. Like I
yeah,
want Saka, Rice, and all of them to win if they are able to win. I don't have any reservations about that.
yeah.
But I don't want that to happen at the expense of my
Of
club.
my
My
club.
club is
Yeah,
my
I don't want
number
that.
one
Yeah,
headache.
yeah,
I
for
don't want you
sure.
coming back because it's crazy what these guys are being put through.
Oh, it's a
Right? You're
lot.
going
It's
to
a
play
lot of
a World
games.
Cup, maybe get 2 weeks break, then come back. You're already on preseason tour,
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting ready again.
Yeah,
It's
getting
August,
ready
September
again.
for
Yeah,
another long grilling season.
yeah.
That is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm fine with. You see, when Raya is not, I think Raya is still not the
He's
number
one
one
of the
goal.
guys that I love. Like when I hear that he goes to Spain, I'm just like, all right, cool, just go chill and come back. All I know is that you're chilling.
Have fun with the boys,
Yeah,
talk to your
yeah.
besties over
All I
there.
know is that he's chilling. So
Come back
yeah, yeah,
healthy. You
right.
know what I'm
I don't
saying?
care about him. Yeah,
But you see, Raya is exactly how I feel
how I
about
want it to be.
all the other players.
Hmm.
Go and have fun with the boys.
Yeah,
Go to the camp, make some friends.
yeah.
Catch up with the other guys from other teams.
But just
Saliba,
don't.
you and Fofana should not get involved. That guy's trash. But
Yeah,
like
I was really
just
happy Saliba called out. To be honest, I was
I
him
love
or
it.
Gabriel. Because Saliba called out first, and I was like, man, I wish Gabriel could just call out. And then the next morning I woke up, Gabriel is out. I'm just like,
We
yes.
we got a title to win here,
Like
man. We
literally, I
got a
was
title
like,
to win.
yes, yeah.
Uh, Actually, Eze, we didn't talk about.
Mm.
The news came out that he's injured. Obviously, going to miss what is it?
They
Games up
sent four
until
to six
probably
weeks, but
May.
I don't think it will
Yeah,
be up to 6 weeks. So yeah,
you don't think so? You think it's
no,
one
I
of
don't
those
think
things
so.
that we'll just put
Yeah,
out there.
I don't think so because if you remember when the injury happened, it was against Bayer Leverkusen. I saw the interview he had on the pitch right
And he
after the
came out
game,
to say it's
and
fine,
he
right?
came out and said, and he felt fine and everything. A lot of the times when I think he's almost in that is like danger zone. Remember in December when we were talking, I said I saw something when someone put out an article and said literally he has played the most games he's ever played in a season in his career till when he came to Arsenal, right? And then Odegaard had this injury. We brought him back in, and then he was picking up form. And I think his body is still within the adjustment period. So I think these 2 weeks is definitely going to help him. I also believe we might see him anytime from City or the game after City. Yeah,
Hey, man, we need everybody we can get
yeah,
right now. So
yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay.
Shout out to Thomas Tuchel, which you mentioned did something we don't see a lot of managers do at the international level, give the players a break. But I wanted to
Mm,
talk about the English team that he picked.
mm.
I was very
Yeah, that
surprised to
was
see
shocking.
that Trent
Trent didn't
was
make
not
it.
selected. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie. I mean, Trent has never been known for his strong defensive, whatever, but in a 26-man team or whatever it is,
yeah.
Trent
30
doesn't get
something.
selected.
Not
30
even
something, even
26, 30
crazy.
something. So it's
Even
like now,
crazy.
is it not even much difficult for you to leave people out?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to. But here's the catch. Where's the catch? I think there was an injured player and he brought back Ben White.
Yeah.
Ben White,
But
I
but
don't
but
know.
that
I
for
think
Ben
Ben
White,
White has.
I'm not surprised for Ben White because and again this has nothing to do with Arsenal bias. But the reason I'm not surprised with Ben White is because right from the time when Tuchel was hired, Ben White was one of those players he literally highlighted and said he needed to have a sit down with Ben White because he liked his profile and he liked the way he played. And he knew there was a situation with Ben White and the English national team during the Qatar World Cup because if you remember, he left the camp and he never replaced him. So that of Ben White, I am not surprised because he even said that he literally came to watch, he watched Ben White at, I think he said it was the Leverkusen game at the Emirates and at Wembley as well. And literally, when the other person dropped down, he said it was like he literally didn't even have to think about it. That he called Ben White immediately, and his answer was straight. But I think the main question here is, like you said, when you look at that squad, how is someone like Trent not making that squad? And this is not even just him as a right back, just based on his skill set and everything that he has. It makes no sense he's unable to make that squad. I still feel there's a possibility for him between now and the end of the World Cup, but I think people should not be shocked if, not just Trent, by the way, people should not be shocked if there's another name that misses out from that World Cup list
Give us the
in a
name
few
now.
weeks. I have no idea, to be honest. I
Oh,
have no idea.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but I think the people that are the likes of Foden,
Foden
I
was called
think
up.
I think he was called off, but I think the likes of Foden, Eze, Palmer, Trent.
I think Eze makes it pretty easily.
But that's what I'm saying. These are the names that I feel I would not be shocked if two names from that's Trent because of what has happened now. But I'm telling you, outside Trent, I think there's going to be another name that a lot of people are going to be like, wow, he didn't make it to the squad. And it's Tuchel. So, Yeah.
I can see that, but I don't think any of them would raise a flag for me as much as Trent
Not
has.
us. You have to remember this. We're
Because
talking about the English media at the end of the day.
yeah, I guess fair. But
Yeah.
for me, if Foden doesn't make it this season, I don't think it's a big oh my god, they didn't make it, right? Same with Palmer. Palmer hasn't had
Throw
much of
another
a
name in there, Bellingham.
that too, right? But that
Yeah.
one, the thing is already brewing, right?
He's
Like
already
it already
brewing.
made
Yeah.
it comments,
Yeah.
right? So that would not even be a surprise.
Yeah.
Going back to your White and as it relates to Trent, I'm not gonna lie, I have my Arsenal bias on, and maybe that's even the problem because I
Mm.
prefer White doesn't go. But it's hard for me to take everything you have said in the context of what Tuchel's decision could have been, because this is also the guy that has said to a player like
Skelly.
Lewis Kelly that you gotta be playing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you cannot make the argument that White has played enough minutes over the last season and a half or whatever it has been
But I'm not looking
for
at it
him.
that way, though. I think he
No, I know, but
likes.
that's
I
just the
think he
comment that
likes.
he made.
He made, yeah, but I think he likes the profile of Ben White, and I think the
That's
reason
my
he also scored Skelly at that point was because of the energy and everything that was around Skelly with what Skelly did last season. Because if you realize, when Skelly got dropped a little bit this season, who did that energy move towards to that had the same impact? Nico Riley
wait.
at Man City.
Right.
Yes.
No, let me go. No, let's not shift to the conversation. My point is, if your comments about Skelly are true, then your
Yeah.
comments about White can also not be true at the same time,
Oh, okay, I get what you mean. Yeah, he's
right?
just saying what he has to
So
say to the
it's
media.
okay for you to
Yeah,
just say, "I don't want this brother in my
in
team."
my team. Yeah,
In the case of Trent, right?
yeah,
Every other thing just looks crazy otherwise,
yeah.
right? Because I don't think, I mean, Trent hasn't been the best, whatever, but to say that you can't find a space for Trent
I
in
hope
the Real
Trent makes
Madrid
the
team,
squad though. Yeah,
yeah, I can't
because
buy that
I
one, man.
yeah the one that's difficult for me is just, and again, like I said, I don't even just look at Trent as, oh, he has to play right back. He just has a skill set that I think
You find somewhere for a
you
player
find
like Trent,
somewhere for him to play. Exactly. Like, he has that skill set that there's no way you're going
right?
to come out and tell me, with all the English talents that you have, there is no place for Trent, and there's
Right.
a place for someone like Jet Spence. I don't see it.
You gotta be kidding me, man. I didn't even
Like,
realize that. You
yeah,
gotta be kidding me, man.
like I literally don't see it. I see the Livramentos, I see the Lewis Halls and all that,
Yeah.
but yes, I don't know. I still have a feeling he makes the squad one way or the other, but
We'll
it's a little
see.
shaky
We'll
for the
see.
fact we've not really seen Trent under Tuchel already. And this final 30 something squad, you don't call him, man, dark times.
It's
Let's
really
pray
dark.
for Trent, bro.
Pray for Trent. Say
Yeah,
pray
let's
for
pray for
Trent.
Trent.
Let's end with I did see the highlights of the Brazil France game yesterday. I don't know if you got a chance to
Yeah, you
see it,
sent
but
it to me. Yeah.
oh yeah. France, I think they're my team right now going into the World Cup. They've always
Oh,
kind of been
really?
my oh yeah, they've always been one of my teams, except
Yeah,
when they
I
were
try
going
to
up
wait
against
to see the squad and everything.
who?
Not to see the sides. If I'm picking a team now, it's gonna be between Spain and England. But I need to see the last
Right,
squad first. Yeah.
right. Yeah, but I think what I was really trying to get to was it was a good game. I enjoyed,
Mm.
at least from what I saw, I liked how Carlo Ancelotti was trying to
France was
use
nice.
Martinet. Oh, France was
France was nice.
they went a man down and it didn't even
Yeah.
feel like it.
France
Right,
was nice. Yeah, he
their
played
start,
Martinelli
bro.
through the middle a lot, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, like him and Cunha started. Looks like they
Yeah.
started off front, right? But I mean, Brazil just doesn't look like it right now.
They
But
don't. They
you
don't.
know,
And I think I really think they'll be embarrassed this World
Vinicius
Cup.
was poor. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I really
I mean,
think they'll
he's
be
been poor.
embarrassed this World Cup, to be honest.
I don't think so. Only because do we know the table, the groups? I don't think we know the. Do we know the groups yet?
I have it somewhere. Let me find
But
it.
there. Oh, it's already published, right?
Yeah,
They've
oh
already.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
I
So the
know I
point
have
I'm
it
trying to make
somewhere for
is
sure.
the group stage is always designed to allow teams like Brazil get through.
Oh yeah.
So
I just saw their
so the
group. They are definitely getting through. So
Exactly. I don't even know who it is, but I
They have
know they're getting
Haiti,
through.
Morocco, and Scotland. But guess what? I promise you, I will not be shocked if Brazil finish second in that group.
But it wouldn't matter, is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes.
Embarrassment at the group stage level would be not getting past. So let's put that to one side, right?
Oh, me, I
So,
thought my limit for them was around what was it called? My limit for them was more like round of 16.
okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If in the round of 16, Brazil, I don't know the brackets and how things land. If
Yeah.
Brazil faces a Spain or a France and get knocked out, is that an embarrassment?
Hmm. Now you say no.
That's my
Now,
point. Like, what does
yeah,
embarrassing look like for Brazil?
but the end of the day, we have to still look at it like they'll say, like this is Brazil, right?
Bro, it's been 20 something years since Brazil won the World Cup.
It's not even just about winning the World Cup. When you look at the quality of players that they have, it's definitely nowhere near what we have been used to. Like
Yeah,
literally.
but even when they had the Neymars, and they still got embarrassed by, was it Germany
But they were
back
making
in the
like
day?
what, quarterfinals?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is the margin for embarrassment? Like, embarrassment to me would be you get blown
Well,
out
yeah,
8-0, 7-0.
I see where you're coming from, though.
I
Yeah.
have no expectation of Brazil in this tournament, so I cannot be disappointed by Brazil.
If Scotland beats Brazil in any part of the competition, will you be shocked?
In the group stage,
Group stage.
no.
Let's say
If
group stage.
Scotland, yeah, I won't be shocked. But if
Okay.
Scotland knocks out Brazil, then yes, that
Yeah.
would be shocking.
It won't be
But
shocking to me.
you can lose to Scotland and still finish
Yeah.
top of the group. Yeah,
Yeah.
in
If they knock
some
them
crazy
out in
way.
like, yeah, it won't be shocking to me.
Saudi Arabia got a result against Argentina. Argentina
Argentina in
went
the
on to
group
win.
stage. Yeah.
So
True.
none
You're
of
right.
that
You're right.
stuff would mean anything to me, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you that it looks like a very weak
Yeah.
squad.
It's very
Like I
weak.
don't when I watch that, I don't know if their final team looks anything like that. But when I see that team, I was like,
Yeah,
eh.
because when I look at that team, like who else is missing that they add to that? Okay, yes, the likes of
Rodrigo is
Gabriel,
missing.
Rodrigo is not going to make it. Neymar,
Yes.
they will add to the squad.
You think Neymar's
Yeah,
gonna make it?
I
You
think
think so?
so. I think so. I think they'll call him. I don't think it's the right thing to do, but I
I don't
think
know
there's
if he's
going to
gonna make
be,
it.
I think there's going to be a lot of sentimental things that will happen between now and when they pull up that list. And I think Neymar might just make it. I
I
think.
tell you what, if they add Neymar, I want just as a football fan because I
Yeah.
think Neymar is, one of the top players we've seen in our time, and it could. This World Cup is already looking dead,
Yeah.
so a player like Neymar could add some excitement to it. So as a
Yeah.
fan, I want to see Neymar. But if you add Neymar to that squad, I think nothing puts a nail in the coffin quicker than Neymar in that squad.
Yeah, but when you look at them as well, just try and focus on the attacking, like based on your knowledge, what you know, or the players that you know. Like, do they really have that much talent that if Neymar makes that squad, you're shocked? Like we said, the likes of Rodrigo is out.
But there's only one clear position, and maybe I'm just not understanding how they set up.
Me, if Neymar makes it to the squad, I'm not even seeing him as a starter.
That is my point I'm trying to get to about the
Yeah,
nail in the coffin.
I can see them bringing him off the bench to do whatever he wants to do.
But
Because I'm
but that
thinking,
so okay, let me ask you a question. If Neymar were to start, whose
yeah,
position is he taking in that team?
if Neymar was to start, I think the best place to play him would be behind the striker.
No, give me a name. Who is going out for Neymar?
That's the reason I said the position is because I don't think he will play the wings because I don't think he has the legs for it. So I see him more in the middle. Now you're talking about the likes of Joe Pedro and Cunha to play because I want to believe one of them will be a striker, the other one will play right in between. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that preference would be. Vinicius is definitely going to play on the left. I can see him even starting Martinelli on the right or dropping him off the bench. So if Neymar has to be on that pitch, literally, I only see two positions for him, which is either, okay, you're just going to be that lazy striker up top, or you just be the guy behind the striker and you just try to make us be a little bit more creative or have a little bit of spark. So there's no person I would say he's definitely benching this person. I think it's just based on his own ability or where they feel his strength will suit the team right now. And to me, it's either that number 9 or that number 10.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I actually thought, and you're right, but as I was listening to you speak, I was like, yeah, I don't know if he has the legs because the
Yeah, he
only
doesn't.
position I see him playing is the Vinicius position. And the
Yeah,
reason I was trying
nah,
to get there
nah.
was you don't put a player like Neymar on the bench to watch a player like Vinicius who is thinking of the joint right now for Brazil, right?
Yeah,
Neymar has so much
yeah.
cultural relevance that nobody's going to want to see him on the bench when you have all these YNs thinking of the joint, right? Out there.
Meanwhile,
So
mind
that's why I
you,
say
don't forget the likes of Richarlison, I think can still make that squad.
it's not a hard squad to make, is the
Exactly.
point.
So that's why I'm
It's
saying
not
I can see Neymar making it because it's not a hard squad for people to get in.
no, but I'm not when I say Neymar doesn't I don't know if he makes it. I want him to make it, right?
Yeah.
But my point isn't down to his ability, which
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
of
is
course. It's not
questionable.
that has to do with
It
the
is the
ability.
weight of expectations that come with Neymar.
Expectations.
Neymar is
Yeah.
not coming there to be just another guy.
Oh, for sure.
So
Yeah.
you can't have a Neymar just to be just another guy. And now you
Yeah.
have a guy who's probably not the fittest, who is not at his best as he used to be. You want to put him on the bench for who? For all of these guys?
Even their midfield. If I'm being honest, even their midfield. Yeah. Not really impressed.
By the way, I think Portugal has the same problem.
Yes, they do. They have a
With he who must
CR7
not be
problem.
named.
They have a CR7 problem. But why Portugal's situation is much better, I think they have better quality players than Brazil right now.
Yeah, but I think you're hearing me talk about it like the quality of the players. I'm talking about who's the coach for? Is it
Martinez.
the what's the Martinez, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what they've been doing in their qualifiers. Did they name I'm sure they must have named Ronaldo in the team, in the World Cup
For
team.
the World Cup
Portugal.
team is not out, or you're talking about this international
Oh,
break?
they've not announced the World Cup team.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
they've so these teams are just like
Yeah, these teams are just like this is the last, let's see who can make it
okay,
at the last minute and stuff like that. So I think in
okay, let me ask you.
another few weeks they should.
Fine, let me ask you. Do you think Portugal names Ronaldo as a player in the World Cup squad?
1,000% is their captain.
Okay. So now my point is this. Does Ronaldo start in Portugal?
Yeah.
I think that would just mean that they're not going far.
Because they'll play him as a striker. They're not playing him on the left. Because
We'll see.
if you also think about it, they really don't have any striker that is like taking that position to himself. So they have the likes of them Rafael Leao to play left. They have people who can play on the right. They have the guy from
Right.
Juventus. What's his name? I can't remember his name. But yeah, they have the guys from. So that's why I said if you look at the quality players that Portugal have, in the middle they still have the Brunos, they have the Ruben Neves, the Bernardo Silvas, they still have Vitinha from PSG. There are people they can put all around where
Kind
Ronaldo
of
doesn't have to do
I see what
a
you're
lot
saying.
of
Yeah,
work, right?
too.
He's literally just going to be up there to just do Ronaldo things. But in Brazil,
You
there's
don't
still a
have to
lot of
say
work to do, even around.
Casemiro.
Exactly,
Like,
Casemiro and all these
I see
people.
what
Like,
you yeah,
there's
I get
still a
what you
lot
mean.
of work to be done. Like, if you even look at the Portuguese defense and all, they still have some very not Cunha, Matias Nunes from this guy can play in the right wing, right back. He can play in the midfield. They still have the Diaz. They still have Mendes from PSG. So they still have the supporting cast are casting.
They're still casting.
They're still casting, but man, for Brazil, it's a bit different. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
I'm
bit
done with
different.
Brazil out here, man.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
I'm really looking forward to seeing all the teams that are named for the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I
Yeah.
think it'll be good to see Messi just for sentimental purposes get one
Yeah.
last run at it.
Mm.
I definitely want to see Ronaldo at the World Cup again. I think this particular
This
World
is
Cup
it.
needs these players.
After
No,
this one
forget it.
is
They all know it
cracking a
is it.
lot. Yeah.
They know it is it. I'm saying
Yeah.
for the beauty of the game, because this World Cup needs everything to
It
push it
needs
forward right now. I
everything.
think it's going to be.
Everything.
I think they say this about every World Cup, so I don't want to be too extremist, but I
Yeah.
think this one could be one of those ones where it's like, it's not
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
And so you're going to need some guys who have those names.
Yeah.
I think you need Mbappe to be fit for this World Cup. You need Ronaldo and Messi to be available for this World Cup for all these different subplots.
Yeah.
If Neymar can make it, I would love it. You need him to be there for the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
because right now those are the guys that can really generate some buzz. I think if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
I think what's that Lamine Yamal obviously has a lot going for him as well, so
Yeah.
it'll
And
be
this
fun.
this this is where he's going to start showcasing himself, basically.
Oh, this World Cup is built
This
for
one,
Lamine
he's
Yamal.
going to take it personal. I guarantee
This
people.
World Cup is built
Yeah,
for Lamine
he
Yamal,
will take it
right?
personal.
Because he has such like global reach at such a young age,
Yeah, sure.
which is interesting. You
Yeah,
haven't seen that since maybe Ronaldo or something.
yeah.
Like such a like people just
Like
love
imagine
him.
him,
He's
imagine him having the type of Euros that he had at the World Cup.
massive,
That would be ridiculous, man.
massive,
Yeah,
especially here in the US.
yeah.
That would
Ah,
be
that
crazy.
would be ridiculous.
That would be
Yeah.
crazy. All right, man. I don't think we have anything else. We've covered all the topics. There is no Premier League this weekend, obviously.
Ah,
Is it
thank
back
God.
next week? When are we back? No, next week is FA Cup.
Fourth FA Cup, yeah. So the first
Yeah,
weekend will be
so
FA Cup, which is a little strange because it's not like it's a
yeah,
lot of
no.
FA Cup games. I'm shocked they don't even have some Premier League games going on at the same time. But I think
Oh,
it
they
also has
don't?
to do with the schedule. I don't think so. I think it's just purely FA Cup.
So some other teams are just going to have an
I
extended
think,
break.
oh yeah, like the likes of what United. I know they don't play till yeah, yeah. Then if you're
Oh,
not in
that's
the
not
FA
fun.
Cup, if you're in
Till
Europe,
the
lucky you,
10th.
you play the week after. Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's literally from 22nd to the 10th of April. That's like
United
what,
don't
8
play
weeks
until the 13th of April.
until the 13th.
Ah, that's crazy.
That's almost 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
The last game was on the 20th of March. Yeah.
So that's 20th to 31st is what 11 plus.
Yeah.
Woo!
Almost a month pretty
Yeah,
much before the
almost a
next game.
month.
Oh well, let's bring today's episode to a close, my bro. So, bring us home as usual.
Yeah, man, it was a good one. Shout out to everybody. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode and just the usual that we just ask you guys for like, subscribe, and let's just push this out there to like more listeners. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Great break from the international one, and we'll see you
Right.
guys back for the running.
Sounds good, my guy.
Sounds
Nice
good.
catching up. No banter this
Anytime.
Sunday, but we'll be in
Yeah,
touch
man,
for
I
sure.
need it, man. I need a break.
I need a break too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
even
need
the
a
group
break.
chats have been quiet, so
Same,
I'm
same.
taking a
I'm
break.
still taking some small jobs here and
I
there.
saw the one you dropped today.
Just sharpen up the skills.
Yeah, man.
All
People.
right, now. All
I
right,
take it
cheers.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye.